and if I'm not wrong, he's almost having more than 35 years of experience in this profession, and obviously he's the chairman of the Bengal Academy of Applied Homeopathy. He's a life member of the Homeopathic Medical Association of India, Hahnemann College of Homeopathy, London, and he's also presented a paper in national and international homeopathic seminars. And also he is a faculty, the visiting faculty of Department of Medicina, undergraduate and postgraduate of DSA Homeopathic Medical College and Hospital. He has also presented his papers in Liga. He is a huge personality and definitely a very good teacher. I would like to welcome you, sir, in this webinar. And Dr. Vishwajit Bosu will be speaking on dose-related response in higher potencies. We will be here at lower potencies with Dr. Tirthampal Banerjee at the end of this session later on. And Dr. Vishwajit Bosu will be speaking with dose-related response in higher potencies, its use in daily practice and roadmap of ADE, that is adverse drug effect reaction. Adverse drug effect detection. Dr. Vishwajit Bosu is presenting his skill. Over to you, Dr. Bosu, sir.
Namaskar. Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I pay my gratitude and thanks to the organizer, the Peripheral Pharmacovigilance Center, Mahesh Bhattacharya Homeopathic Medical College and Hospital, Government of West Bengal, for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to share my views and experiences on today's topics. And I also like to pay my respect to inaugurator, Professor Dr. Shyamal Mukherjee, Principal and Administrator of DND Homeopathic Medical College, Principal and Administrator Dr. Madhavananda Saha, Mahesh Bhattacharya Homeopathic Medical College and Hospital, and all my co-speakers and my loving students and participants. Now my today's topic is dose-related response in higher potency, its use in daily practice and roadmap of adverse drug effect detection. The pharmacovigilance is a science of collecting, monitoring, researching, assessing and evaluating information from healthcare providers and patients. This should be keep in mind. And regarding the concern of pharmacovigilance, as per World Health Organization, the adverse drug reaction that are noxious and unintended. So in homeopathy, whenever we are thinking about high potency, generally people know, or even homeopathy doctors, they do believe, some of homeopathy doctors, in high potency, in high dilution, as there is no the active principle or physical or chemical properties of the drug, that drug may not cause any harm to the patient. But if it be used indiscriminately, it will cause adverse effect. Regarding that, I will discuss. Regarding the concern of pharmacovigilance, that is the monitoring of drug effects, side effects, contraindication, and outright harmful effects are essential to maximize benefits and minimize risk. What Hahnemann told in his Organon of Medicine, the system of medicine is, it should be gentle, harmless, and permanent recovery. To pharmacovigilance, it is being introduced officially in the month of December 1961, and in 1968, World Health Organization promoted Program for International Drug Monitoring, and actually in our country it is being properly monitored. Monitoring committee has been prepared and executed in the year 2017 or 18. We all know regarding the aims and objectives of pharmacovigilance to improve patient care and safety. In my slide, what I have made in bold, that is very important regarding a homeopathic field and homeopathic perspective. We are very much concerned, we should be very much concerned about patient care and safety, public health and safety, and we do like to detect the problems related to use of medicine, communicate the findings in a timely manner. Now I am presenting the page from Hahnemann's Organon regarding the rationale of pharmacovigilance in homeopathy. People generally consider the pharmacovigilance in homeopathy as a new topics, but at all it is a new topics in homeopathy. In the year early 19th century, Hahnemann in his Organon of Medicine in aphorism number 276, he clearly wrote and asserted From this reason, a medicine, even though it may be homeopathically suited to the case of disease, does harm in every dose that is too large. So, considering the administration of medicine, if it be correct, if it be selected properly, and if we do not consider the dose of the medicine, and Hahnemann told that in strong dose it does more harm, the greater its homeopathicity and the higher the potency. So, the topic is being coined by the organizer is very correct and very rational in today's practice in homeopathy. Hahnemann himself told in higher potency, if it be used in its indiscriminately in large doses, in higher potency even it will cause strong doses will cause more harm than the smaller doses. So aims and objective pharmacovigilance volatile organization, what they told, to prevent harm and maximize the benefit. So our objective as a homeopathic physician, whether we are giving lower potency or higher potency, the objective should be fulfilled in our daily practice to prevent harm and maximize the benefit. Now I am just asserting a few words or sentence from our literature. Introduction of pharmacovigilance in homeopathy. In the year 1900, Dr. J.T. Kent in his Kent's philosophy in chapter 35, he wrote, there is always an index that tells him what not to do. Actually, pharmacovigilance guide the physician, homeopathic physician, what not to do. It is being told by our master, one of our legend homeopath, Dr. J.T. Kent. He said, if he is sharp vigilant observer, the particular term vigilance is being used by J.T. Kent in 1900. So, pharmacovigilance in homeopathy is not a new thing, it is a new term. It is being not formulated or considered as law and legal things earlier, but as a homeopathic physician, as a legendary homeopathic physician, Dr. Kent categorically told there is always an index that tells him what not to do. Hahnemann in his chronic disease in the year 1828, he said, nothing is lost if the dose is given smaller than I have prescribed. Now in schematic form in flow sheet, if we like to present, this is homeopathic pharmacovigilance. It should be considered from two aspects. One is pharmaceutical, that is quality of the medicine. Today's discussion is not at all confined with this part. My discussion will be confined to the therapeutic part, the dose and drug reaction. The homeopathic pharmacovigilance with regard therapeutic, that is dose and drug reaction. Then if we consider dose, Hahnemann clearly wrote in his literature, in Organon of Medicine, the dose should be minimum, medicine should be single, and the selection of medicine would be very similar. So in homeopathy actually, whenever we are prescribing any medicine for any given case, regarding selection of medicine, regarding dose of medicine, regarding potency of medicine, everything is to be considered from the principle of homeopathy. Now I am just presenting the aphorism number 112. In this older prescription of the often dangerous effects of medicine ingested in excessive large doses, we notice certain states that are produced not at the commencement but towards the termination of this side effect, and which are an exactly opposite nature of the disease. So, if we do not consider about the dose, if it be medicine is in high potency, if it be in indiscriminate or massive dose or large dose, it will cause much harm to the patient. In chronic disease, what he wrote, now when the stormy assault caused by too large dose of medicine, clearly he wrote, if we give medicine in too large dose, it will cause stormy assault. Although homeopathically selected has been assessed to the antidote to the latter, and he also advised how it will be combated. Regarding minimum dose, the suitableness of medicine for any given case of disease does not depend on its accurate homeopathic selection alone. Generally, we feel so whenever we are taking the case properly and giving all reports, we are selecting a medicine in single medicine, that we have completed our work. But regarding dose, what Hahnemann told, on the proper size, dose should be in proper size, rather smallness of the dose. If we give too strong a dose of a medicine, which may have been even quite homeopathically chosen for the morbid state before. So regarding dose, Hahnemann repeatedly alarm us, we should consider the thing. Regarding similar remedy, already he told, and that is the part of the clinician what he should do. Regarding homeopathic perspective of pharmacovigilance, dose in high potency, what Hahnemann observed in his clinical practice. In chronic disease he wrote, I gave CPR in 2 large doses. This trouble was still more manifest when I gave Lycopodium and Silicea potentized to the 1 billion, giving 4 to 6 pellets. So Hahnemann himself, when he was practicing high diluted medicine, he prescribed CPR and wrongly he administered in large doses, and he experienced the trouble of the patient. And Hahnemann also wrote in chronic disease in different pages regarding the bad effects or stormy assaults of large doses. Simply, if we go through Allen's keynote, we will get the line in CPR, a single dose often acts curatively for many weeks. So, regarding dose, regarding repetition, if we select the medicine correctly and homeopathically it is very similar, but if we do not consider the dose and repetition of this medicine, it will cause large assault or stormy assault to the patient. Now I am telling about the drug reaction. Drug reaction actually manifested in 3 forms. Either having the drug, the disappearance of complaint may take place, or the increasing of the trouble or amelioration of the trouble. It is a desirable thing. If it be happen in every case, we will be very happy and the patient will also be very happy. But in selected case, it may happen the increasing of the trouble, and in selected case, the amelioration of the trouble. So, drug reaction, when increasing the troubles, then the 3 things may take place: either disease aggravation or homeopathic aggravation or appearance of new symptom. In all aspects, if we consider all those points during our pharmacovigilance, it should be considered regarding the assault and harm to the patient. Just I am giving few examples from applied part. If we go through our Materia Medicus, I am not referring any big books or any large voluminous books. I am just referring from keynotes, Allen's keynote. In Bacillinum, it is written, flash of heat soon after the dose, some perspiration, severe headache, deep in. In carcinosin, temperature rises at 10th day in dark picture carcinosin. In Drosera and Materia Medica Pura, Hahnemann wrote, 1 single dose of the 30th potency is sufficient to cure entirely epidemic whooping cough. The cure takes place surely between 7 and 8 days. Never give a second dose immediately after the fast. These are the things, just I am giving a few examples, we should consider whenever we are observing any prescription done by any homeopathic physician, whether anyone is repeating Drosera, whether anyone is intervening after giving carcinosin when fever is coming, or 10th day anyone is causing intervention, all are not desirable. Now regarding repetition and overdose of medicine, just I would like to share few medicines. In Calcarea cough, once again it is from keynotes. In aged people should not be repeated, especially if the first dose be benefited. It will usually do harm. So whenever the pharmacovigilance team is working in any institute or any clinic and getting a prescription for a people or a man aged about 50 or 55, and the particular physician prescribing Calcarea carb 200 or 1 every 15 days or every month, that should be considered under the perspective of pharmacovigilance regarding prescription. Lacananum, it generally acts best in single dose. I am happy to share, I have prescribed Lacananum for a lady patient suffering from chronic pancreatitis with raised amylase and lipase, and Lacananum 200 was given and it was acted for 6.5 months at a length. No medicine was required. Regarding mercury, we all know mesothelium is a vegetable analog for bad effects of large doses or too frequent repetition. So, whenever we are getting any prescription as a team member of pharmacovigilance and getting mercury and it is being repeatedly prescribed and administered to the patient and causing trouble, it should be taken under consideration. Nitric acid relieves ailments resulting from abuse of mercury, especially if there be erythema, bad effects of repeated dose of digital is also being combated by nitric acid. In this relation also I do like to happy to share on one of the beautiful case, one of my colleague, he was repeatedly suffering from chronic gingivitis acute attack, and whenever he asked me, considering all I prescribed Maxol 30, and whenever he was getting any trouble, he used to take Maxol 30 within 15 days or 1 month interval. And once fine morning, he was getting pain in his teeth and took Maxol 30 3 times a day. And after getting the swelled up mouth and pain was very much aggravated with the feeling of elongation of teeth, much of saliva and tongue, everything was there. Then he took Maxol 200 at evening. And after that, in night, he was suffered like anything. The next morning, he telephoned me, yes sir, I have taken a Maxol as you advised earlier 1 year ago. Whenever I used to take it, I got relief. But in this sequence, I getting Maxol, it is very much aggravated. Though still I am having a Maxol symptom. And then I took Maxol 200 yesterday night, and also it was being aggravated too much. But if we go through Herring's guiding symptom, nitric acid, we will get all the symptom what he was suffering, getting overuse of Maxol. And if you simply prescribing nitric acid, it was being abated and combated. So, whenever anyone is prescribing Maxol and giving it repeatedly for a particular trouble, the pharmacovigilance team should be very aware to audit the prescription. Regarding opium, stramonium, you will get many references in our Materia Medica books regarding repetition and overdose of medicine and instruction what to do and what not to do. Once again I am referring Hahnemann's chronic disease, but if once medicine, because it was selected in a correct homeopathic manner, it is acting well, usefully, which is seen by the 8th or 10th day. So, whenever we are auditing any prescription or the pharmacovigilance team is observing any prescription minutely and analyze it minutely, the day of aggravation, what the patient is suffering is very important. Generally, whenever any medicine is doing good for the patient and the patient is getting some aggravation, it generally observed on 8th or 10th day, it is Hahnemann's observation. Also, if we do practice in our daily practice and analyze our daily practice retrospect our practice, then we will get. And Hahnemann clearly told at 24th day the best result will be appear or manifest during prescription. Now I am telling some medicines, few medicines from Materia Medica which are contraindicated, that would be very much helpful for the pharmacovigilance personnel. Suppose they got a prescription, the phosphorus was prescribed 1 month ago and patient was improving, but suddenly getting an exposure from winter, patient is suffering from acute hoarseness or soreness in throat and cough, and he was prescribing causticum in different potency, and after that the patient became very much worse. So, whenever we are analyzing the prescription as a pharmacovigilance personnel, we should know the thing. Phosphorus is incompatible with causticum. Baryta carb is incompatible after calcarea carb. Generally, whenever we are getting any patient during hot days and cold night in approach of winter, patient whatever is the suffering, if they may suffer from acute fever, coryza or urticaria, whatever that may be, we simply prescribe Dulcamar in frequent doses. But if any patient have lachesis 1 week before the episode of this cold attack, Dulcamara is contraindicated in that case. So, Whenever we are audit or observe any prescription, as a pharmacovigilance person, it is our duty regarding the contraindication of medicine what have prescribed by a homeopathic doctor. Ignatia is incompatible with coffea, naxomica, etc. Ranunculus bulbus incompatible with sulfur and staphysagra. As per homeopathic principle, what Hahnemann wrote in Organon of Medicine and also chronic disease, he advised every treatment, mostly in acute case, should be concluded with an suitable antisoric drug. Suppose we have prescribed for any patient ranunculus bulbosa for acute condition and patient is being improved very beautifully. Now to considering the philosophy of homeopathy, just to give an antisoric drug without considering the presenting symptom, we are not supposed to prescribe sulfur after ranunculus bulbosa. That should be analyzed and observed properly when we are observing any prescription. Then regarding sepia is incompatible with lachesis, silicea is incompatible with mercury, like any other thing, many things we will get in our homeopathic medica. Now I am suggesting a roadmap for the pharmacovigilance higher authority and committee and also in peripheral committee, those who are working regarding dose in high potency. First and foremost thing is the prescription audit. What should be audited in prescription? Whether the medicine is given singly or not, that should be audited. If it is not given in single dose, that should be charged and that should be reported to the higher authority as per homeopathic principle. If it has been included till date in under the legislation, that should be included. No homeopathic physician is supposed to prescribe more than one medicine during his prescription, and it should be legalized properly to take legislative action. The dose should be minimum and it should be most similar. It is not possible for the pharmacovigilance personnel to consider in every case whether the medicine is most similar or not. That will depend upon the clinician expertise. Now I am telling the observing action of the medicine. Regarding action of the medicine, first of all, we should consider whenever we inquire to any patient, he is suffering a lot after getting homeopathic medicine, we should observe and note down whether removal of the symptom and disorder, whether old one first then new one, the more important organ to less important organ and upwards to downwards. It is very important. It is the duty of the pharmacovigilance personnel when anyone is getting trouble after having homeopathic medicine, getting more trouble, whether the action of the medicine is going through the proper way or the reverse way. Then the consequences of the observation, the day of the aggravation of the symptoms. If any patient reports that I am getting some symptom aggravated just after taking medicine, that is another thing. If anyone is reporting I got few aggravation for few hours or 8 or 10 days, the approach would be different. Now the second prescription, what Hahnemann repeatedly told in his chronic disease, the chief third error of homeopathic physician, that is a hastiness in follow-up and relationship homeopathic medicine. So I do like to conclude our today's topics regarding homeopathic perspective of pharmacovigilance, dose in high potency, prescription to be served to all patients, it should be mandatory. In remote, not only in remote villages, I have also seen in the different cities, in our city also, in Calcutta, some qualified homeopathic physicians, they are giving medicine to their patients without serving any prescription. The prescription to be served to all patients, it should be mandatory. So the pharmacovigilance committee, if they get any thing happening in any medicine shop, the patient is coming from any doctor and the medicine is being administered through verbal communication without any prescription, it may be served in WhatsApp form, no harm, but the prescription should be served. In every tier of pharmacovigilance committee, from top up to periphery level, apart from the designated team, a senior successful clinician is to be included as an advisor in order to assess and evaluate all possibilities to cause harm to the patient and to promote more benefit before formulating information into data. Common dictum, potentized homeopathic medicine will not make any adverse effect, is not at all rational. If we go through our literature, then it will support. In this relation, I am also happy to share another incident. The incident was very unfortunate. One of my patient, he was suffering from urinary bladder carcinoma, at the same time CKD. And when I attended that patient, his creatinine was more than 11.2. After getting homeopathic medicine, it was dropped down up to 7 point something, and otherwise he was doing well. But as the creatinine was very high, patient was under hemodialysis. And during hemodialysis, those who are conducting hemodialysis, they are giving a few medicines, that anticoagulating heparin-like drugs whenever they are doing hemodialysis. And getting overdosing from heparin-like doses and drugs, he was manifested with a symptom of hematuria. And considering that and few symptoms, I prescribed Crotalus Haridus 201 dose. And the patient party, they took the medicine from the pharmacy, and after getting the medicine, in that episode, that was relieved. But in after 1 week, when they have once again attended the hemodialysis center, they also once again induced heparin, administered heparin. After that, patient was getting once again hematuria. And without consulting me, they purchased the medicine from the shop, Crotalus Haridus 204 doses, and they administered the patient twice daily the medicine. And after getting Crotalus Haridus, what happened to the patient? What harm caused? Though it was prescribed in high potency, what harm caused actually? Within 7 days, the creatinine was raised up to 9 point something. The condition of the patient was very bad. And despite of all effort, for last 4 months, I am trying a lot. But what improvement he experienced before the indiscriminate use of Crotalus Haridus, despite of heparin and all those things, what he was experiencing, despite of all efforts, all my best efforts, I am not managing the case properly. So, the common dictum, as potentized homeopathic medicine will not make any adverse effect, it not at all rational. Be very cautious, and I am also requesting the pharmacovigilance personnel, be very sincere and be very vigilant to observe all these cases. So, to prevent harm and maximize the benefit, pharmacovigilance, dose in high potency is essential. Once again, I do like to conclude with our master's citation. The treatment should be harmless and gentle, and it will recover the patient in a permanent way. Once again, I pay my thanks to the organizer for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to share my practical experience with regard to pharmacovigilance. I am not actually too much conversant with pharmacovigilance, what they are doing, all those things. I have to learn all those things. And once again, I am pay my thanks to the coordinator of Maharaj Bhattacharya Homeopathic Medical College, Dr. Chandrima Rai, and the facilitator, Dr. Devi Shah. And I am very happy to congratulate and welcome one of my loving student, Dr. Shubhro Kanjilal, for his beautiful coordination of today's program.
Thank you so much, sir. It has always been soothing to hear you. And especially I'd like to mention one point. We are fortunate to see the books that Dr. Bashu has read, his personal books, and he has underlined the lines. And I'd like to request all the attendees to note what he has underlined. And actually these are the cream words of those portions. And if we can read going into, what we say between the lines, and if we can find out the importance of those lines that Dr. Bashu has underlined, we can do a much better. That we are doing.